Good morning. Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP, some liquidations, some Bitcoin, and the Sigma coin. So checking in here on XRP. So yesterday we identified a 5-way move off the lows with an ABC correction, specifically really reflecting this on the Korean chart where we had the initial lower low that came up and set the higher low here. So we kind of use this as our basis for the beginning of this impulsive move. And now we're kind of working into a couple different count scenarios that I'd like to discuss with you to just kind of see what we think we might be end up going into and making sure that you're aware of both of these setups here. So one potential way to look at this is with our initial 5-way move off the lows. We had our ABC right here in the middle of the zone, primarily signified by a completion of a 5-way move to the downside, and then another 5-way move to the downside, completing this ABC with an ABC mini in here for wave B. So we had this ABC move, right? So then from that, we ended up having another clear 5-way move off the lows. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, pushing us up to a measured move right now of an 886 of the equal length. So if we assume that this is the beginning of our wave 1 and we move this up and down to the completion of the bottom of wave 2, then we end up getting a measurement which takes us up to the 0.886 perfect tag right here for the second leg of this move. From there, we've now gone in and we had invalidation levels. So with the expectation of a continuation, our plan was that we were going to have another 5-way move to the upside after a corrective structure here in the middle. So like a perfect world, that would have been a triangle right here. And we would have done our triangle move, and then we would have just continued out of here. Instead, they swept to the lows, invalidating wave 1. And then they came back up and swept to the highs, getting rid of all of the leveraged players, but still not exceeding our breakout area, which is what we were kind of looking for. So because of that, this is most likely a corrective structure, right? So we've now crossed. And because of that cross, it is going to result in a potential ABC up. So if we get rid of these minor counts here and we move those off to the side, and we end up getting a larger degree wave count here, this now has become an overall ABC move. So we're now looking at a larger A, B, and C of the higher degree. So this is now becoming a corrective structure rather than a impulsive structure. So this is now a larger ABC. So what is this right here that we're doing? Well, we did another ABC down in the middle of this range, and this is where we have two pathways. Okay, so pathway 1 is that this larger ABC is going to result in a correction where we end up rolling over and setting one more low. But where are we going to do that from is basically, that's my main thesis. I'm pretty sure we're rolling over, we're doing one more low, and where is that going to happen from? Well, if this is an ABC leg up and this ends up being a mid-range kind of ABC, we can actually have one more run here where this level of price action can actually take us up to its own ABC higher. And this would actually mean that we would be looking at a level here where there we go, perfect, where this would actually move us back up to 245, sweeping into the wave prior to it and getting us up into this region. So the expectation is now being that in this overall view, this becomes an even larger ABC. So we do, or WXY up is what we would actually get, because we had two setups here. So we would end up having a W, X, and Y leg that would take us up to this region, resulting in somewhere in here, this moving up, into this zone. And then from there, we actually roll over and come down and do one more low. So this would be then another 5-way move downward. And you would see all of this price action sweep the lows, getting us back down into this 217 to 214 range. So hopefully that was helpful-ish, because there's basically a couple different ways we can go. And the expectation being that there may be, in fact, one more swing low, and we go, okay, that's interesting. So what have we seen on the liquidity? Well, we have the ability to swing higher here, pushing us up all the way potentially into this 247 region, right? Swinging higher and taking us up into this equal legged move up here. In addition to that, we could also see that the downward move has also built up a lot of leverage. So there's all those people right here pushing down into the 218s. And so the expectation being that this may in fact roll over is important to keep on the mind because of the chop right here in the center of the range and the chop right here in the center range. This new larger move, if we measure this now, let's just do this to see what we can get here on this line. If this becomes our completion of the B wave right here, and we end up having a, there we go, a low here, and this becomes our top of our wave W, we would be looking at a potential measured move taking us up into somewhere here in the 247 to 252 region. So this would get everybody excited. Everybody's super excited and happy that this is now breakout. We're moving higher. We made it to the top of the range, and then boom, one more potential rollover. So not saying that this is going to happen, just kind of saying that this is a setup you need to be aware of, that they may sweep one more time just to get all that late liquidity, and then they can actually fully send it once it's fully reset. So you say, okay, well, we have the liquidity that can do this. We have then where else would we see this as a potential pattern setup that would make us think that this could play out? Well, with Bitcoin, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in this leg right here, we should have a total of 5 waves. Well, we have 1, 2, and then this is the part that makes you think you're going to roll over. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we roll up higher into this region, and we set one new low, hitting that 50-week moving average finally at the end of the whole thing. So the fact that this is only a partial count, because again, we have 1, and then what's this right here? And then you'd go, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that doesn't make sense. So we go 1, 2, and then this whole leg should be 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is. We roll back up for wave 4, and then we set one more low for wave 5. So that is probably what's in the cards. One more sweep to the low to get everybody kind of really pessimistic at the last second, and that would then finish this move, allowing us to get out of here. So now what's intriguing is I think they're going to do this in the next day or so, because here is our futures market for Bitcoin, and we have the futures market not open yet. But what's intriguing is that this has already hit the 200-week moving average, and if we look at our count, we've actually already finished the 5 waves down. So now we can see that this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just very clean, right? 1, 2, 3. This is super, super nice in this little futures market here. So we begin right there. I mean, that's pretty clean 5 waves. So no crossing, no nothing. So this is actually looking finished. So my thought is they midday today, roll it back up, get everybody super excited on the weekend. We're making it. We're getting back up into here. It's a super squeeze. Close the remaining of the shorts up to the liquidity at the 247 region, right up in here. Get all the way up here, come back down, and then sweep everybody to the downside one last time. And then we're officially out of here to get off of this move. So now if we just continue and we march sideways and we just hold support here and then we continue, great, fine with it. We got no problems, right? But I will be cautiously watching this price action, seeing how we trade. And if we start rolling over in this kind of fashion and we see a 5-wave move to the downside after hitting these target areas, then that will be an expectation that makes me think that we're actually going to roll over officially. So now deviation wise, this would be a return to a +1 deviation of our larger degree, and a reset back to fair market value is common. And then maybe we just continuation because people panic and it ends up pushing us down into this liquidation area down here. So things to be cautious of, things to think of. Perfect world, we just kind of get up here, bounce, hold support, and out, right? But that's what we're watching. So now the good news is in the meme world, we've had an explosion of excitement. So yesterday we had Sigma coin print a really, really beautiful 5-wave move off the lows. And then we started seeing this breakdown, and I actually said it'd be great if we had this come back down into here. This is probably the most that we're going to get with this having already kind of chopped and closed most of the gap here. And sure enough, we did. Somebody capitulated, sold right here, and then bam, everybody stepped in and price action just shot off. So this is now becoming our wave 3 move. So of the larger degree, the expectation is that we would see this move upwards in this kind of fashion for a larger 5th wave, probably even getting up to 1.5 million. Okay, pushing past these levels here. And then from there, the expectation is that we would roll over and complete another ABC down and probably close this gap back down here to 1.2 million. So potential quick trade here where you can look to see price action move up 30%, and then you can then re-grab a difference of 30% again to the downside, giving you a potential another, if we do this type of structure for this back test, a potential another quick trade where another 57% would happen if you trade, ran it, sold some, waited, reaccumulated, bought. So obviously this doesn't necessarily have to happen. I'm just kind of showing a setup here, but breaking back into the wedge and back testing the wedge would be very expected after the deviation to the downside. So, and this would align with XRP moving to the upside, giving us this parabolic run. Everyone's super excited, and then we end up coming back down and either sweeping into the new lows, or we end up closing at least this gap right here that we've made, because looking to the left, there's this gap for sure. Let's get a little bit of liquidity volume here. Let's do a fixed range volume profile. So from the low, going forward, yeah, you've got that gap right there. We can see it for sure if we move over here. There you go, nobody. So that was too fast. So because it was too quick, they're going to come back and check it out. And again, there's some potential gaps down here that they may want to test. So a sweep back down to the lows is in the cards, but not necessarily going to happen. So just be mindful, be ready, and be prepared mentally that if we do swing up and then swing back down, it's an opportunity to buy more, or do a quick trade where you take some profits, watch price action. If we back test, hold this level, then you go great. If not, then you go, ooh, good, even better, because now it's on sale. But this is really close to the end, guys. So we're very, 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 very there. If we just stay higher, great. Or if we just break down and do that one more low, it's a gift. So that's how I'm looking at it. So, all right, hopefully that's helpful this morning, and we will check in tomorrow.